Hi coaches, Lee Dunn here with another game of the week for you. This week we're going to call the game of the week Win-Win. Coach on the side of the field, soccer balls always available behind the goals ready to play, and we're looking at about 20 by 15. Now if you go more, of course this game is set up for 4 players, 2 reds and 2 blues. You could ultimately go 25 by 20s and then even bigger if you want to add more players. I have a timer set of 10 seconds. Usually it's a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes or what have you, but this is going to be a very short, sharp time frame that's going to really ultimately shape the way the game is played. So we'll start with a 1v1. Of course we have the red player starting here with the ball. They can dribble, they can do whatever. Ultimately they're going to try and score in this goal here. However, if the blue player comes in and wins the ball within this 10-second time frame, then the second blue comes in, and now remembering that they will have the ball, so then we give them the ball right there. Now we're looking at a 2 versus 1, so it's a win-win for the blue. Blue wins the ball, they win a player, so they turn it into a 2v1. If it's the other way around and our red player here, they can keep the ball for 10 seconds, then they get another red join in. Now the ultimate win for these reds is going to be this player having the ball, beating the blue and scoring within 10 seconds without losing the ball, and that's a challenge for them that we want to give them. So your real focus on this game is going to be on the red player and what they do with the ball. Blue already have their initiative. They're going to try and win this ball in 10 seconds. If they win in 10 seconds, they get the player. There's their win-win. They're going to go all in. But that means with our red, that gives us plenty of coaching opportunities because we know the blue is going to charge in. There's no way they're not going to play under control to win within 10 seconds, especially considering the personality of your players. A lot of the time they just want to win the ball as quick as they can, and hence a large problem we have in games when they like to swing and miss and show no control and restraint when the ball is in front of them. So in here, we've got our coaching points for our red. They can look to dribble, follow this dribble line, and the idea of the dribble line is that they bring the blue in and can cut into space. That's number one. That's one of the best things we can do. But if they take a bad touch, if they're under instant pressure because of the blue, let's look to get some space away from our goal. So if they do lose the ball, they're far enough away from goal that it's not really going to hurt us just yet. We're able to get ourselves set and help defend. However, we don't want to think about defending. We've got the ball. So we can look at the player and their shielding. Do they keep the ball away from the defender so their back is to them? Do they keep the ball to their side? So as you see in the picture that we have with the player with the ball, that's a perfect position if the blue is on the left side right here, because the body is between the blue and the ball. It's a perfect way to shield the ball. Now something kids often forget to do is they start using their body and they start pressing in against this blue and pushing them away, but they forget about the ball. So if they can keep the ball moving, and it's just simple touches to the side, each side they're going to go with the ball, it's really going to help them create space. And then if anything, it will help break the pressure of the blue. Because if the blue sees the ball being moved to the right and they step to the right, that creates all sorts of space for the red to exploit in here. Now, they only need a little bit of space. That's with all the other game of the weeks we've done. It's just a touch into the space. We're playing in 15 to 20 yards of space. I would think that they could score from there. They have a good opportunity to get the ball into space. And if they can't score from there, it's a big touch out into the middle of the field to make them go fast and then a goal. And if they've shielded the ball for that long, it may actually be just a touch into space and then a pass over to their red teammate who's now joined the game. So it's really important that we keep the ball. Again, another game of the week that focuses on our players keeping the ball. It puts them under pressure. As you'll see as the season goes, there'll be far too much panic for the players just to kick the ball away. So of course my red player could not beat the blue. Now they're under instant pressure. They're in their own half of the field. They've got their back to goal. The blue is right between them and the goal they're trying to score in. However, the ball is in a pretty good position. It's shielded between the player and the defender. Now, how do we get out of this? My instructions for my red here are to be patient with the ball. They've got to keep moving the ball. Moving the ball from left to right is really going to help them try and create some space. Because if they move to the left, as I showed before, and our blue circle moves here, it leaves space in here. And now the beautiful thing about this space is it only takes one little touch into that space. And the player is suddenly on the front foot. They're now looking sideways, which can lead to them playing forwards. Now, considering if they're moving the ball and shielding, it may have taken 3, 4, or 5 seconds to get into the position that they're in right now, and it's shielding for a couple of seconds, a couple of touches, and then instantly, and this is where our players often forget that they're actually playing when we have players off the field, but they're in on a queue. They've only got 10 seconds. The blue player could be in even sooner if the blue player won the ball, but they didn't in this instance, and we've hit 10 seconds. Now this player, where do they move to? What's their body position? What are they doing to get in the game and to provide support? Now, as they check it in, their body position somewhat like this: left foot and right foot. And the thing I like about this is that they can see the ball and they can see the goal. And they're a perfect rebound right there. So as the ball comes in, their touch is going to be ability to take them forwards. This is what I'm really looking for. So this ability of controlling the ball. Often when they stand and face where the ball is coming from, then the touch goes right back to where the ball came from, and generally right back to the defender. But if they open their body up, just like I'm showing here, where they open up, now as the ball comes in, the ball goes right back out, and it takes them towards the goal where they can bang it in and make advantage of this 2v1. So this body position is really important. A couple of things you can also touch on is their communication. How are they calling for the ball? Are they demanding the ball, or do they just kind of stand there and expect the ball to come to them? Next thing you can also consider is how deep they are. Do they need to come further back into here? Because a lot of players may just want to run all the way up, and it's harder to score from this angle here. So we're encouraging this body position, again, constant relation to the game. This could be our number 2 that's recovered back into the game to win the ball or to provide support for our player on the ball. So it's just like a real game. What would you do in a game? What would you do? Look at your position. Why would you be in this position? What could you do when you get the ball? And so the position, of course, if they're confident, they can score, but they can also dribble too. Remembering that the blue was completely wrapped up over here with the red X in trying to win the ball. So that cut to the right then created space on the left where the ball was then played back in. So they played this way, then they played back into here, into our middle man, and then into the goal. And the idea being that we completely maximize this overload of 2v1. So assuming you'll have more players at practice than just the 4 that have shown up, then I would encourage you to replicate this and have a second field going on. That way you've got 8 players playing, maybe even you're looking at having 6 on each field, so you have 12 players playing. Whatever it is that is going to suit your numbers. And the important thing is that the players are continuing to play. Now, we set a 10-second time limit here, but that's a 10 seconds to win the ball. Now, give them 2, 3, 4 minutes in allowing for rotation. So let's say blue team wins the ball, then the blue team will change players and keep a red on the field, or the red team can change players and keep the blue on the field. Whatever it is, so they play against someone different. Now, the intensity is not going to be as high as we look at our RPE scale. You may be looking at a 5 or a 6 because there's elements of stopping and starting. Yes, it's going to be intense for 10 seconds, but then it's going to slow down. And especially once the team get the ball, they may score, they may miss, whatever happens, then it's a case of resetting. So for every 10 seconds of intense play, you may be looking at 30 seconds of rest in between. So we're looking at low intensity. More players, of course, means more players you can get straight into the game and restarting. So if you had 3 players on each, you may have a red right here, so that, and a blue right here, so that as soon as these 2 in the middle have played, then suddenly they're out of the game and they're on the sideline, and then these 2 are right back into the game ready to play. Starting positions could be that the player starts with the ball and simply dribbles into the game. They could also receive a ball from the outside. They could also play the ball long and then give it to the blue and then defend against the blue. So there's different little starting ways too that you can then start working on trigger points. So if a player was to play the ball long, then they have to sprint after the ball and get there. Or if the ball comes in from the sideline red here, then how is the blue anticipating that? Are they reading where the ball is going? So you're really developing all aspects of the game on both sides for defense and attack. But remember, your focus is going to be on the attackers and can they maintain the ball for that 10 seconds to get that advantage. Now, we can lull the blues in for a trap and say, yeah, we're going to try and shield, but actually we're going to find a bit of space as quickly as we can and score a goal. That is perfectly fine, and that's exactly what we want to do. Remember, goals win games. Have fun with this practice. I look forward to your feedback and enjoy.